standing in prayer, and when you're standing united, and when you're getting maced and shot at, and when you see concussion grenades going off everywhere, and when you're getting pushed back, and when people are telling you over the bullhorn, keep moving south, and when there's concussion grenades going off, and when there's people lying on the ground and nobody's giving you a chance to pick people up and move them to safety, that's the reality of it, and it's scary, but it's necessary, I think, for everybody to understand what's taking place.
If you come together, then you can make something big, like Standing Rock, because there's a lot of people there.
Get there, you don't know the emotional and spiritual things that will happen until you actually go there and experience it. And there's so much beauty and spirituality and strength in that camp. And when we were there was about 7,000 people there. There was women, children, they were putting up teepees, there was tribes from all over the nation. Songs, elders were speaking. I mean, the way that camp is set up is the traditional way of life in a modern world. And they had a school that they were putting up for kids. And so I think when you go there, you don't realize what a beautiful, strong community that is. And, seeing, we were there when they brought attack dogs out. We were standing from here to, I don't know, it's probably 5 feet away, and watching the violence that was being inflicted upon the people right after we got done praying and singing was really disturbing and sad.
It was. It brings back a lot of emotions. I remember getting the text message from Jessica saying, do you want to go to Standing Rock? And I didn't really know too much about Standing Rock at that time. I had just kind of been hearing about it here and there. And I remember from the minute she texted me that it was like a spark had been lit. And I was like, I'm there. I'm going no matter what. Like I canceled everything out of my life at that time and was like, I'm going to be gone. I'm going. And the more and more that we traveled and we got closer, it was crazy, the energy and the power that was forming and calling us. And I remember when we finally got to North Dakota, it was eye-opening to see that even in 2016, we were still facing all that racism, all that negativity. It was just crazy to see it and to feel it and to be a part of it. And I remember finally feeling safe when I got to the camp and walking among my people, and the unity and the love that was pulsating from every person at that camp. I didn't feel no type of judgment, only on that side of that fence where DAPL security was.
It really enraged a lot of people and brought people from all over. Well, that Labor Day weekend, we were, like they said, we were praying and walking up to one of the sites, and Dennis Banks was there and gave a speech, and there was singing, and then all of a sudden somebody said that there was a bulldozer, that there was construction going on, and so we all walked up to that site. And I remember us standing there watching the bulldozers, and how everything was so quiet. Nobody was talking, nobody was yelling, it was just quiet.
Disbelief.
Yeah, disbelief
Because
at what
it
we
was
were seeing.
Sacred burial land. I mean,
They
it's
were-
sacred land.
They were destroying sacred sites in front of our eyes while there was a partial restraining order to stop drilling and construction. They did it anyway.
Which we didn't know. I didn't know at the time, but you still for some reason just knew something was wrong was happening, and there were tears in people's eyes, and but then all of a sudden we realized, I got kind of separated from the group, and at some point the fence came down and people started to cross. I remember being terrified because one young man walked right in front of the bulldozer and was ready to die. And for a second there, I thought he would. But somebody threw him down. One of the construction workers grabbed him and threw him down. And one of the elder women said, "This is the time. This is the time to cross. Why? This is why we're here."
What did we come for?
Because I don't think we were intending. In fact, we were quite afraid when we were walking up there that we would get arrested or there would be trouble. But there was something about her voice that just, it's like, well, she's right. We came all the way here. This is why we're here. So, and the other thing that was really, I guess, really that I remember is just all the documentation. Everybody had their phone out. It's not something you would have seen 20 years ago. So it's a very well documented event, but at the same time, all that documentation and what has it changed? What good has it done? Because our government still isn't acting on it.
Community, and watching women and children and our people continue to get violated and experience trauma again in this sort of violent way, it's really worries me for the future of our people. I mean, people are going to have to recover from this. Children are going to have to recover from this. And this is, to me, it's completely inhumane and completely unbelievable that the government has once again violated our human rights, violated us as the first people of America, and continue to inflict trauma upon our people.
I would just like to say thank you for Democracy Now! For, I can't remember her name, but
Amy Goodman?
yes.
She was right there.
Thank God for Amy Goodman. She was there filming. She was asking questions. She was putting herself in harm's way, and without that footage, I feel like a lot of people would not even have known about that day. And I remember, like Heather was saying, we were standing on the fence, and I was scared. I was worried about all the wrong things. And I remember watching that gentleman cross the fence and throw himself in front of that bulldozer, and it scared me, but it was the mother that crossed the fence with her child, who was no older than 6 years old, and she was so alive and so brilliant. And I remember thinking, like, she's not putting her son in harm's way. She's standing up for what she believes in and what she is, and she's teaching her son right in front of me. Like, she was demonstrating, she was, teaching that next generation. And I remember it did something to me. It really touched me to where I felt like I can't stand on this side of the fence when there's a baby and a mom, and they were coming at her. And it was when her and her son crossed that line that they brought out those attack dogs.
Because this is not going to end. Even if this pipeline is successfully built, I think this has spurred a lot more. I think everyone is just tired of it. We're tired of being walked on and feeling like, these decisions are just being made by other folks, and it's the communities that suffer. And I think all of us want to know how to keep this from happening again, and it just really changed our lives.
I can honestly say that I think about Standing Rock in North Dakota and South Dakota at least once, twice a day, if not more. I mean, like I said, it's really changed my life. I feel like my work surrounding that is not done. I feel like it's just the tip of the iceberg, and I really feel like it is something that everybody needs to experience, not just Aboriginals, Indigenous people. I feel like this isn't just a tribal concern anymore. This is a worldwide issue, and water is life. And if we don't put a stop to it, and we forget about it, and we don't handle this situation, then we will be the last generation.
Mm-hmm.
We will fulfill those prophecies and those legends and stories of the black snake eating us up, and we can't do that. We gotta fight. We gotta continue to fight.